Good morning, dear students. In this class, I will explain about the DNA model proposed by Watson and Crick. And for proposing this model of the DNA, they got the Nobel Prize. So here, this is the double helical structure of DNA. According to this, these points can be summarized as that DNA molecule is a double helical structure. There are two long and parallel polynucleotide chains helically coiled around the same axis. So these are the two long polynucleotide chains helically coiled around the same axis. Here there will be the nitrogenous bases and they will be attached with the covalent hydrogen bonds, and the backbone is provided by the sugar and phosphate molecule. This is the 3' end, this is the 5' end, this is the 5' end, and this is the 3' end of the DNA molecule. They both run anti-parallelly. So here 3' end, here there is a 5', that is why here there is a 5', there is a 3'. Now right-handed helices are held together by their bases, which are paired by covalent hydrogen bonds. These are paired by the covalent hydrogen bonds. Purine of a polynucleotide chain pairs with the pyrimidine of the other. In that way, the adenine will always pair with thymine and guanine will always pair with the cytosine. Now, both the chains of the DNA molecule are complementary to each other. That is, adenine will pair with thymine and thymine will pair with adenine, guanine will pair with cytosine and cytosine will pair with guanine, and the distance between the base pair is 3.4 angstrom. Here you can see that here there is a distance between the base pair as 3.4 angstrom. Here this is the 3.4 angstrom, and there are 10 bases per turn of the helix. So one turn has got 34 angstrom. This is 3.4, this is 34 angstrom. The two helices are coiled in such a way that they cannot be separated without unwinding. These two are coiled and they can be unwinded in a zipper like fashion. Suppose that zip is closed, then in that case, if it has to be opened, then it has to be unwinded. So likewise it is compared with that fashion. So here the backbone of the helix is sugar and phosphate alternating with each other. I am sending another diagram along with the diagram which is given in your book for the reference for the phosphodiester bond. Children, I am telling you the page. Here you can see it on the page number 222. 222, it is given in the structure of DNA that how this polynucleotide chain is formed. The two chains of the helix are of opposite polarity and that is anti-parallel. Here these two chains are of opposite polarity, and in one chain runs with 3' to 5' end. If this chain is running with 3' to 5' carbon position change, then another will run with the 5' to 3'. Then here you can say that direction in that for the polynucleotide, monomer nucleotides, that is the single nucleotide, joins to form the polynucleotide, that is number of nucleotides are arranged in that chain through the formation of phosphodiester bond. In that diagram it is clearly given, which can be formed between any two adjacent nucleotides, in which 5' and 3' hydroxyls of two adjacent sugar forms a double ester with phosphoric acid, and at one end of the chain 3-OH group and at the other end 5-OH group is exposed for further elongation of the chain. Children, please see that diagram, page number 222, and just make the familiarity with what comment I have written for the polynucleotide chain. Then after that, the width of the helix is 20 angstrom. Here you can see that it is 20 angstrom. Now again I am repeating, this model was proposed by Watson and Crick, and it is a double helical structure, and there are two long and anti-parallel polynucleotide chains. These are the two long anti-parallel polynucleotide chains. They are helically coiled around the same axis. Now after that, right-handed helices are joined together by their bases, which are paired together by the covalent hydrogen bonds. Here it is hydrogen bonds, and purine of polynucleotide chain pairs with the pyrimidine of the other, that is A to T and G with C. Then both are chains are complementary. Then after that, the distance between the base pair 3.4, and since 10 bases are there, so turn of helix has got 34 angstrom. They are coiled in such a way that they cannot be separated without unbinding, and backbone of the helix is sugar and phosphate alternating with each other. Sugar and phosphate are alternating clearly with each other in that diagram, figure 8. It is a polynucleotide of DNA. Please refer while undergoing this. Then after that, another thing is that the width of the helix is 20 angstrom, and the two chains of the helix are of opposite polarity, that is they are anti-parallel. Now structure of the RNA. Children, strictly I am going towards the reduced syllabus. I have sent it to you. You just follow that, and if you any other things are also given in the book, they have been cut off, so you don't worry about that. If any case which is any topic which is there and if it is not included, you please inform me. Structure of the RNA, single stranded structure. Then nucleotides are AGCU, so here thymine is replaced by the uracil, and pentose sugar is by the ribose sugar. There was the deoxyribose, here it is ribose. Now RNA is of three types: rRNA, mRNA and tRNA. That is ribosomal RNA, messenger RNA and transfer RNA. Now here ribosomal RNA is forming the bulk of the RNA, that is the largest RNA. About 80% of total RNA single strand is made up of rRNA. It is stable, highest molecular weight is there, hence sedimented. When cell homogenate, that is the slurry formation is there, then centrifuged with very high speed, and the unpaired bases in rRNA molecules binds mRNA, that is the ribosomal RNA binds mRNA and tRNA molecule. That is, it is binding in the protein synthesis process with the mRNA and tRNA. Which RNA? rRNA, and it is a structural and functional component of ribosome, and it is present in cytoplasm. Next is messenger RNA or mRNA. It is present in nucleus and carries the information for protein synthesis. This is present in the nucleus. Okay, and here you can say that this is present in cytoplasm, and here it is in the nucleus, and this carries the information for protein synthesis, which is present in the DNA, and it forms a template, that is, it carries the information from DNA in the nucleus to the which is present in the nucleus to the ribosome sites of protein synthesis, where there will be the synthesis of protein in the cell, and that is the informational RNA it is. Why it is called informational RNA? Here the answer is given. And a particular region of the DNA molecule is copied during the synthesis of RNA only by replacing the T with U and deoxyribose with ribose. Thus RNA produced as complementary base to DNA. Whatever base will be there in the DNA, Same thing will be produced in the RNA by replacing the T with U and deoxyribose with ribose, and it occurs in nucleolus and cytoplasm also. That is what I have told. In the nucleus region chiefly it is concentrated. Now it carries the genetic code, that is containing the code which contains the information in DNA for protein synthesis. In detail in the chapter of protein synthesis I will be taking about the genetic code, and there these functions will be utilized, that it binds with the mRNA and tRNA and this is the bulk of the ribosomal RNA which is meant for the protein synthesis. So these all will be utilized there. Please go through with this, and every day you ask your question. You are most welcome. So many times I have said stepwise learning. Don't ask me please the question when the 10 days or 1 month is over. Ask questions daily, and if you will send me the question then I will arrange the meet. Okay, thank you beta.